Welcome to Northern Kentucky University's December 2020 virtual commencement celebration. Because of the restrictions due to the global pandemic, the entire NKU community is disappointed we cannot gather to celebrate in person. However, while this virtual celebration is not a substitute for our traditional commencement ceremony, it is important and necessary to gather virtually to mark the graduation of our August and December graduates, to celebrate all of their many successes, and to show our pride in all they've accomplished. To begin the ceremony, please welcome Dr. Ashish Vaidya, President of Northern Kentucky University.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this very special day to honor and celebrate the accomplishments, resilience, and perseverance of our August and December 2020 graduates. I look forward to this day every semester. As president, it's always a pleasure to shake the hand of each graduate and to see the joy and excitement on their faces. While we're not back together in the BB&T arena today, as we had hoped back in May, I'm grateful that we're still able to find a way to honor your years of hard work and dedication in overcoming adversity and challenges, and your indomitable spirit. The late Congressman and civil rights leader, John Lewis, often talked about persistence and never giving up on dreams. He said, "If you come together with a mission and it's grounded with love and a sense of community, you can make the impossible possible." I know at times, especially these past several months, the dream of today seemed impossible. So I hope this celebration is something you will remember fondly and know how proud the NKU community is of you and your fellow alumni. I hope that while these recent months have been extremely trying, you know you were never alone on this journey. The NKU community was with you as you persevered through a global pandemic and finished strong.
Please welcome Ms. Sue Ott Rollins, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs.
It is my pleasure to virtually celebrate the 48th annual graduation of Northern Kentucky University and to honor and celebrate the class of 2020. The journey to graduation is filled with many people who make a difference in our lives and who offer support and encouragement along the way. And so we recognize and celebrate the contributions of not just the members of the class of 2020, but also the parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, children, family members, and friends who helped them along the way. I would also like to recognize NKU's faculty and staff. I can't stress enough the importance of our outstanding faculty who daily demonstrate a deep dedication to helping our students achieve their goals. Our dedicated staff also work tirelessly to support and guide our students, from admission to advising to career opportunities and all the other places in between. These members of NKU's community are full of pride in you and wish you all the best as you leave NKU and pursue your next chapter. To offer congratulations on behalf of the faculty, I'm pleased to introduce the 2020 Frank Senton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award recipient, Dr. Mark Barget. Dr. Barget is a Regents Professor of Psychological Science and has had a dramatic impact on our students since he joined NKU's faculty 20 years ago. He earned his PhD in experimental psychology from the University of Missouri, St. Louis in 1991 and conducted postdoctoral research in neuropharmacology at the Washington University School of Medicine. Dr. Barget teaches courses in the areas of biopsychology and psychopharmacology and is the director of the interdisciplinary minor in neuroscience. Please welcome Dr. Mark Barget.
Dear graduates, on behalf of the NKU faculty and myself, I first want to congratulate you on your extraordinary accomplishment recognized by today's ceremony. It's one of the greatest privileges of my career to share this moment with you. It's been 35 years since I was in your shoes, but I recall two things from my graduation. First, the commencement speaker was a faculty member like me, who came across as a bit of a hippie and cited a lot of Bob Dylan lyrics. The second thing I recall was just a sense of wonderment that overcame me while sitting among my fellow graduates. Wow, I finally made it. I hope that you are experiencing that same sense of wow right now, even if your wow means a whole lot more than my wow, because let's get this out here right now. This past year, it's been a long parade of wows. Social unrest, wow. Wildfires and stark reminders of climate change, wow. Political discord, wow. Did I miss one? Oh yeah, COVID-19. Finishing your coursework in the midst of a global pandemic, wow. Moves even me to quote some later Bob Dylan. Ain't no use jiving, ain't no use joking, everything is broken. On that note, and to borrow an idea from a commencement speech given a few years ago by former President Obama, I am here to state that if I were asked to choose a time in history to graduate, it wouldn't be 35 years ago. I would choose today. Today is the best day to graduate. You are embarking on your life's work at one of the most transformational times in history. Our ability to prevent and cure diseases like COVID-19, mitigate the biases that fuel injustice, redirect the course of climate change, and share our stories through art, music, literature, and drama is so much improved and progressing at a pace and at scales that are unprecedented. Moreover, while the pandemic has represented a dangerous crisis, it has also motivated us to think and problem solve in creative ways, and has generated new and unforetold opportunities for accomplishing our work, serving others, and finding fulfillment. Your educational experience at NKU has equipped you with skills, knowledge, perspectives, and forms of thinking that situate you to take full advantage of these advancements and opportunities in ways unimaginable to previous graduating classes. Plus, during the past year, you have gained a resiliency refined from overcoming incredible odds and insurmountable barriers. Psychologists call this grit, and it gives me hope that you can persevere like no other class in seeing through solutions and discoveries directed at tomorrow's challenges. Today is the best day to graduate, but it is the best day only if you approach it in the best way. And that's all about making the right choices and pursuing the right actions, which will require you to remain curious and open to new ideas and different points of view, to recognize your own biases and avoid assumptions, to be wary of simple answers and immediate rewards, and to show respect for others and our planet. If you are mindful of these things, then no matter what your degree is or what your life's plans are, you can make the most of today to create a better world. A world that, in 35 years, will allow the graduating class of 2055 to say, today is the best day to graduate. Congratulations and celebrate today. You've earned it.
To represent the class of 2020, please welcome Adriana Mapp, who is giving remarks on behalf of the student body. Adriana is graduating cum laude from the College of Arts and Sciences with a major in psychological science. She's also a member of the Honors College and has served as a student ambassador for the College of Arts and Sciences. Adriana was selected for this honor by the NKU College deans and administrators on the basis of her outstanding academic and volunteer achievements. Again, please welcome Adriana Mapp.
Congratulations, class of 2020. We made it. There are so many people to thank, friends, family, professors, but most importantly, you need to thank yourself. You made it here. You did it. It's always good to have a great support team behind you, but none of that means nothing if you don't support yourself. You are your biggest supporter, and you didn't give up on yourself. Even when things around you tried to pull you down, the student loans, the late nights, the early mornings, and even for some, their own mental health. And yet, you made it. When you look back on your college journey, remember that no matter what happened, No matter what came your way, you overcame and you persevered, especially during the year of 2020. If making it through this year doesn't show you how strong you are, I don't know what will. Everybody has something that they live by, a quote, a mantra, maybe even a song. I live by the saying, be the change you want to see. And by making it to this day, this moment, you are a shining example of that. Regardless of what you've been through, you had enough motivation to change your outcome. No one can do that but you. Not your family, not your friends, not your elected officials, and not even the president. You. You have the power to effect immediate change in your life. Change the people around you, change who you are, and change the path you may be on if you're not happy with it. And this was the first step in doing that. This is the first step on a path to a long and fulfilling journey through life. I once had a friend tell me back in high school that I couldn't get through 4 years of undergrad without accumulating debt. Well, I'm proud to say that I did that in only 3.5 years. Never let anyone tell you you can't do something or it's impossible. When someone says that, you set out to prove them wrong, and you make sure you do it 10 times better than they ever could. Never let someone else's fear or your own fear keep you from living your best life. I wish you all the best of luck and hope to see you in the near future. Again, congratulations, class of 2020, and continue to be the change you want to see.
Please welcome Maria Reynolds, President of the Alumni Association and member of both the NKU classes of 1987 and 2018.
Hello, my name is Maria Reynolds, and I am the President of the NKU Alumni Board of Directors. As a previous graduate of the class of 1987 and the class of 2018, I've been where you are, with the world at my feet and a bright future ahead. During these unprecedented times, please know how proud all NKU alumni are of your strong finish. And we know that despite the current obstacles in front of you, that your Norse pride and resilience will be sources of strength throughout your life and your career. Stay strong, have faith, and believe the best is yet to come. Now that you are a graduate of NKU, I also want to be the first to officially welcome you into NKU's Alumni Association. You are now part of an elite organization with over 75,000 members. Wherever you will be living or working, we encourage you as alumnus to stay in touch and contribute to the success of the university through volunteering, connecting your workplace and colleagues with NKU, advocating for the university, attending campus and community events, or giving a gift. No matter what it is, we hope you will continue to find ways to demonstrate your commitment to the university beyond today. As an alumnus, you are the face and the legacy of the university, and we have no doubt that you will represent us well. NKU has alumni all over the world. They're accomplishing the unimaginable, achieving the impossible, and creating the unthinkable, and it all started here. I am proud today to introduce one of our Alumni Association members to deliver the commencement address. Galadriel Steinman is a Northern Kentucky native and 2007 graduate from the College of Informatics with a degree in radio and television. She followed her dream after graduation, moving to Los Angeles, California to become an actress, drawing inspiration from the speaker at her commencement. You may know Galadriel from her roles in True Blood, The Middle, and the recent film, Follow Your Heart. Today, Galadriel works as an actress, writer, and acting instructor in Los Angeles. Please welcome Galadriel Steinman.
Hello, NKU graduates of 2020. My name is Galadriel Steinman Joy, and I am a 2007 NKU graduate. Since I left, I've built a career in Los Angeles as an actor in TV and film, and some people know me from my roles on ABC's The Middle, or PlayStation 4's Until Dawn, or most recently on This Is Us, or co-starring with my husband in a Hallmark movie. When I'm not acting, I'm an acting teacher and coach, and more recently, a screenwriter and novelist. I like to think that I've come a long way since I graduated, but none of this could have been possible without my time at NKU. Going to NKU for me was sort of a happy accident, and maybe that was the case for some of you too. It was convenient. I lived a few miles away. The price was right, and it seemed pretty cool. And I don't know if they're still saying this, but when I was there, they always said that NKU was a private school education at a public school cost, and I just could not have found that to be more true. My major and my focus was really in broadcast journalism, and although I'm not directly using that today in my professional life, I use the core of what I learned at NKU with every job that I have. When I go to work, I'm really proud to say that people think of me as being reliable, competent, ethical, and my personal favorite, relentless. And these are all core values that NKU has encouraged across all majors. My classroom education was amazing, but it was probably only half of what I got there. When I was a freshman, my dad passed away unexpectedly, and obviously that was a really tough time for me, and I was an only child, and I was on the really young side for being in college, and I just was lost. And I'm so grateful that NKU was there for me. Between the students, the staff, the counseling services, I really got a place to mourn and to heal. And then I was encouraged to take that energy and put it into student organizations and events. And before I knew it, I looked around and I was a leader for the first time. And I had a community, a truly supportive community. And all these years later, those relationships with students, and yes, with faculty, still come with me. I am still in touch with those people, and they're some of the most important people in my life. And so I would really encourage you to take this chance today to reflect back and think who those people are in your own life, because it's been over a decade. And to this day, those are so much more valuable to me than any piece of paper ever could be. By the time I graduated, which was 5 years later, for those of you who also took your time, I believed in myself. And I think that this is because I met people at NKU who I admired so much, and they believed in me. And so by the time I needed to spread my wings and fly out of my NKU nest, I was really able to take that thought with me. Although NKU did hold on pretty tight, and to be honest, it still does. NKU runs in my DNA. My mom was an early graduate, and there was even one semester where my mother, her mother, and I were all on campus at the same time. In fact, I'm pretty sure we hold a record for that. I have absolutely no scientific evidence of that whatsoever, but maybe somebody watching does. Suffice it to say, the alma mater is in my blood, and now it's in your blood too. Okay, so look, I had some obstacles in my time to becoming a graduate at NKU. You guys had 2020. Holy crap, I'm over here congratulating myself when I squeeze in a workout, and you guys got actual degrees. So if you can do this during a global pandemic, political upheaval, and murder hornets, then I'm pretty sure you guys can literally do anything. I am just beyond impressed with you all. And I think that brings me to my next point. I was so flattered to be asked to talk to you guys today, and equal parts terrified and a little confused. So I've taken this responsibility really seriously, and I've been trying to reflect back and think what I could share with you, and really what I wish I had known when I was sitting where you were sitting. So today I present to you 3 things I wish I had known when I graduated. Number 1, always check your sources. Whether these are news sources or just your own inner circle, I often found when I was younger that I listened to the loudest voice. And you know what? Whether that voice was telling me that I would never make it as an actor in Los Angeles, or just the personal decisions I should be making in my own life, they didn't know what the heck they were talking about. So yes, it is so important to have an inner circle that you can trust. But first, ask yourself about you. Second, only go to people who have actual credibility in that area to ask for advice. And finally, and boy did I learn this the hard way, if someone is trying to offer you advice and you didn't ask for it, run. It's probably never a good thing. Number 2, don't be the one to say no to you. You know, I thought I couldn't write a script simply because I had never written one before. And at some point, that little voice inside of me must have been asleep, and on a whim, I submitted a script to producers. And you know what? I could write. And here's the crazy thing. I could have written that script 10 years earlier, but I was so afraid of being rejected that I said no to myself before somebody else even could. Don't do that to yourself. And don't get me wrong, I'm an actor. I've been rejected so many times before then. I will continue to be rejected so many times. But the one thing that I've learned is every no is a launching pad to a yes. It is still forward momentum. Unfortunately, you're going to meet so many people in your career and in your personal life that are going to try to dim your light. Just please, from the bottom of my heart, never be the person who dims your light. Okay, number 3, you can do hard things for no other reason than you decide to and that you try. You know, someone always is going to have to be the oldest to ever, the youngest to ever, the first to ever. But those people never know it until it's in hindsight. And here's the thing that I think has been the difference in my life, things that I learned at NKU coming from the Midwest, is that if you can grip on when others let go, if you can persevere and double down, the universe is going to pay attention. So maybe you've tried A and B and C didn't happen for you. But what if D, E, and F are waiting in the wings, and those are things that you never knew were possible? That's what I want for you. Do your job and show up, and you're going to find that if you can just stay up those couple extra hours and keep going when everybody else has quit, it's going to pay dividends in your life. Now, Steve Zahn was my commencement speaker. And in case you don't know who Steve Zahn is, he's a hilarious actor, and you have your homework to do. And he's also the star of 2 of my favorite films, That Thing You Do and Riding in Cars with Boys. And I just remember sitting there in this sea of cap and gowns and just like looking up at him and thinking, how do I get there? How do I do what he has done? And by this point in time, I'd already decided to drop everything and move to Los Angeles, but that's as far as I had gotten. Then what was I going to do? And I was so afraid of failing, and I was so afraid of having to come back with my tail between my legs that I almost didn't go. And, you know, I have a long way to go before I consider myself Steve Zahn. But somehow, between then and now, I got to the literal there. I am here talking to you guys today. And, you know, I didn't know what I was going to do there. And it was certainly no straight path, but there were some things that were consistent. I took steps every day towards my goal. I viewed it as a marathon, not as a sprint. And, you know, the other thing is that when you are a child of the bluegrass, either by birth or by college, you can carry that kindness, that integrity, and that grit into every room that you go into. And trust me, it will make a difference. And now I'm going to pass that baton on to you guys. So this starts today. Close that distance. Take your own microphone. Show the world what an NKU grad can do. I am going to be sitting here watching you and cheering you on as a fellow member of a very special club. So welcome to being an NKU alum. Thank you for letting me talk to you guys today. Feel free to reach out. I would love to hear about your journey. And congratulations to the class of 2020.
2020 has been a year like none other, a roller coaster of ups and downs that has been challenging for all of us. Yet as we look back on the year in review, it is clear that through it all, the Norse spirit is resilient, and our community has stayed strong.
Norse up.
Norse up.
Norse up.
Once again, please welcome Dr. Ashish Vaidya, President of Northern Kentucky University.
Thank you to each of our speakers so far. Provost Stuart Rowlands, Milburn Professor Mark Barget, our student speaker, Adriana Mapp, Maria Reynolds, our alumni president, Galadriel Steinman Joy, our commencement speaker, and of course, David Thompson, the voice of NKU. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to preside over this commencement ceremony. To all the parents, family members, and friends who supported our graduates, thank you for the important role you have played in your students' success. The holiday season is upon us, and I wish happy holidays to all the parents, partners, friends, and supporters out there. What better gift than a child or a partner or a friend completing this wonderful journey? Today, we also recognize and acknowledge all our graduating active duty military personnel and student veterans who have served our country. In fact, let us say to all the family members who are active duty service personnel and veterans watching today, thank you for your service. For much of this year, the pandemic brought us that we have so many unsung heroes that have kept us nourished, healthy, and safe. Healthcare workers, first responders, sanitation personnel, grocery store clerks, delivery personnel, teachers, and more. We say to each and every one of you, thank you for all that you are doing every day. And thank you to the family and friends as well as the faculty and staff who helped make the NKU Moving Forward plan to return to campus this fall a reality. It was a wide-ranging and important effort that included the whole campus and several of our external partners over 6 weeks. Our learning environment was transformed to support hybrid instruction and help many of our learners, including many of today's graduates, get back into the classroom. We are hopeful that we can make this same plan to return again next month for the spring semester. To our devoted faculty, thank you for impacting our students' lives each day. You are an inspiration to our students, our alumni, and our community. I am deeply appreciative of how quickly you made the pivot to online learning last spring and again last month as numbers in our state began to rise. You made sure our students' journey was not interrupted despite numerous new obstacles in their paths. To our wonderful staff, thank you for always putting our students first and continuously thinking about their success. Despite the challenges of social distancing, you found new ways to stay engaged with the students and offered support and encouragement along the way. When we come together to celebrate commencement at NKU, we not only celebrate academic achievement, we celebrate the grit, the determination, the perseverance and triumph of each of our graduates. For many of you, the journey to this day was not without its challenges and adversity, even before the world changed the middle of March. All students at every level of education adapted to a new and dramatically different normal, taking a bigger role in their own learning away from trusted teachers and classmates. Reaching this milestone, despite all the challenges of this year, is quite an accomplishment. But your story of accomplishment is also about the kind of place that NKU is, an institution committed to being a student-ready, regionally engaged university that empowers diverse learners for economic and social mobility. Indeed, the pandemic crisis has brought to light how committed the NKU community is to serving students. Since March, this community has worked hard to provide learners with the financial assistance they need through a variety of funds and the Office of Health, Counseling, and Student Wellness has been there both in person and virtually for any learner in need of support. Just recently, Fuel NKU provided food over Thanksgiving for many of our students. Many of today's graduates have been lifted up through these efforts to reach this finish line. Since this crisis began, our alumni are on the front lines of the fight against the COVID-19 virus. They are nurses, respiratory therapists, lab technicians, counselors, teachers, and more, caring for and leading our community. For instance, alumnus Leanne Ernst coordinates the St. Elizabeth Infectious Disease Response Team at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Fort Thomas. Leanne has been part of the team since the Ebola crisis in 2014 and says she's always a nurse. It was her team that was called on this spring when the pandemic set in. Shanna Borders graduated from NKU a little more than a year ago with her nursing degree, and she began her life's work in healthcare at the cardiothoracic unit at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Edgewood. But several months ago, as COVID-19 spread into our region, Shanna joined Leanne's infectious disease response team. Leanne and Shanna were just part of a dedicated team working 12 or more hour shifts, helping to treat patients in the fight of their lives. Let us not forget about our educators, who have also been on the front lines of this pandemic in lifting up our children. Megan Lewis, a 2017 graduate of our elementary education program in the College of Education and a kindergarten teacher at Willowville Elementary School in Batavia, Ohio, has been like so many educators around the world who have met the students virtually for most of the past year. She has made certain her students kept up at a crucial time in their young lives. In fact, her virtual class was featured by Ohio Governor Mike DeWine during one of his daily briefings back in April. That day, the 5 and 6-year-olds in her class shared with so many watching how they were still learning how to be brave, how to be kind, how to help out at home, and how to use the technology, as well as how to love others. Leanne, Shanna, and Megan are just 3 of the many alums making a difference. Graduates, now you join more than 75,000 NKU alumni who live and work in every corner of the Commonwealth and around the globe. We hope your time at NKU has empowered you with opportunities to gain new knowledge, learn new skills, and expand your minds. We hope you took the opportunity to develop lasting relationships with classmates, professors, and staff members. I wish you luck as you head out into the world to do new and exciting things. And I ask you to please never forget the family and friends who helped you become the talented individuals you are today. Like you, they made many sacrifices in the name of your success. They embraced you with encouragement and love when you needed it the most. They celebrated your achievements when you excelled. Please honor their gifts by sharing your talents and your good fortune with others. The late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, "To make life a little better for people less fortunate than you, that's what I think a meaningful life is. One lives not just for oneself, but one's community." So pay forward the goodwill and support from your community to the people who need you. And please know that NKU is always home for you. Now, let's get to the business at hand. I would like all doctoral, specialist, master's, baccalaureate, associate, and certificate candidates to please rise. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Kentucky, through the Board of Regents of Northern Kentucky University, I confer upon you the degree for which you have been recommended by the faculty. I now declare you a graduate of Northern Kentucky University. Congratulations, you did it. Baccalaureate candidates, please move your tassel from the right to the left. Graduates, family, friends, and campus community, thank you for the privilege of sharing this virtual celebration with you. I hope you will all enjoy the individual college ceremonies that are to follow. Now, please join Senior Bachelor of Fine Arts Musical Theater majors and upcoming May 2021 graduates, Mary Faustina Gorham, Jackson Hurt, Blair Lamb, Logan Weinfertner, Danielle Ullman, and Joshua Van Nord for our alma mater.
Northern, let your vision lead us, hearts of women, men, and youth. Help us seek the higher virtues, guide us to the greater truth. Northern, northern alma mater, may our lives enrich your name, and in time leave us your children, better far than when we came.
Northern Kentucky University is very proud of our August and December graduates and all that you have accomplished. To continue the celebration, NKU is pleased to also present individual ceremonies for 5 colleges: the College of Arts and Sciences, the Hale U.S. Bank College of Business, the College of Education, the College of Health and Human Services, and the College of Informatics. These celebrations include the calling of the individual names of each graduate within the college. Links to these ceremonies are available at nku.edu/commencement. On behalf of the Northern Kentucky University Board of Regents, administration, faculty, and staff, we congratulate each member of the class of 2020 and wish you the best of continued success.